Yes, I'm Mahesh Bhagwat, and yes, this is my photograph. I am starting a technical analysis series in YouTube. Every episode will feature one technical indicator. In this particular episode, I'll explain moving averages. I not only do that, but also talk about trading strategies using moving averages. Because this is the first episode, I will also have a bonus for staying on till the end. There, I will give you complete details of my trading strategy involving moving average. I have used this strategy extensively as a proprietary trader for HDFC Bank and then later in ICICI Securities and MAPE Securities. Welcome to this episode and let's begin. So the exact definition of average is this. An average is a number expressing the central or typical value in a set of data, in particular the mode, median, or more commonly the mean. When we talk of average, we are really talking of the mathematical idea of mean. This is calculated by dividing the sum of all values of the data set by their number. So average is equal to sum of x1, x2, x3 all the way till xn divided by n. So Three Idiots is one of my favorite films. So I will stop giving exact definitions of averages and start talking in terms of examples. So for some examples here. So if you want to find the average of the first five natural numbers, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then their total sum is clearly 15. The total numbers we have is 5. Hence average is 15 divided by 5, which is 3. This is all something which we can even intuitively understand. Similarly, average of first 10 natural numbers is what? 1 plus 2 until 10, which is 55 divided by 10, which is 5.5. So finding an average, I think, is something that everybody understands and everybody knows. And this is something that we can all agree on, that finding averages is a very simple thing. So continuing with the examples for an average, if I know the height of every individual student in a class, then I can find out the average height of students in that class by adding all the heights and dividing by the number of students. Similarly, if I want to know the average commute time I take, then all I have to do is add the commute time on a daily basis for say 20 days and divide that by 20 to know the average commute time for work. Similarly, the NPA in a bank, etc., we can find out the average as long as we know the total value of things and the total number of things. Now, the question really to ask is, why do we need an average? What it does for us? So the answer is very simple. Knowing an average of anything adds to the information. For example, if I know I took 1 hour to travel to Lower Parel today, does that mean that it has any value? It doesn't tell me anything. But if I know what is the average time it takes to reach Lower Parel on a regular basis, then I will know this average time helps because it tells me that on an average it takes me 1 hour to go to Lower Parel if I leave at 9 o'clock from Powai. So this kind of information is value add. Knowing what time it took today to reach Lower Parel doesn't help. So this is what an average does. Similarly, an average NPA in a bank is more important than knowing whether a particular loan is a non-performing asset or not. So if I know out of my total loans that I've dispersed, 3% have become non-performing assets, that is an additional information than knowing that one particular loan went bad. So averages add, in general, average adds to the information that we have about a population than just individual data points. More than anything else, averages help us compare. For example, comparing the average height of Indians to, say, the British average height gives us clear information as to who is taller. Comparing the heights of one random Indian and a British individual doesn't do that. Average commute times across cities can be compared for the same distance traveled, thereby giving information of the traffic conditions. Average NPA levels across banks can be compared to know which banks are doing better than others. Not only that, even in the markets, the current P levels of Nifty is normally compared with its average for say last 5 years to determine whether the current valuation levels of the market is high or low. For example, you would have heard somebody say that market valuations are very high. At this moment in time, for example, the PE of Nifty is around 30, and the average PE levels would be in the region of around 22. So naturally, one can say that since the current PE is much above the average PE, maybe the valuation of the Nifty is very high. So the averages basically help us to compare. After explaining averages, I have to talk about what is moving average when it comes to technical analysis. So let's look at how it is done. So this is a Nifty chart that you see, and you can see this curve that we have drawn here. This is a 10-day moving average. Now I have to explain to you what is a moving average. So for example, this is the curve I was talking about, which is the 10-day moving average. And now how is it actually formed? So let us look at the fact that suppose we are here today, here, that is, this was the end of day and we are looking at the chart. None of this data is available. This is the last trading price that is available. Then if you calculate the average of the last 10 days, so then you will be calculating the average of these 10 days. Then whatever is the average, you add all the prices and then you divide that by 10. So whatever is the number that is got, then it is plotted in the chart below this day, below the last day. So the first day is here, this is the last day. The average is plotted on the same day as the last day. Whether it is up or down depends on the price of the average. So it will be, in this particular case, the average comes around here. So when the market opens the next day and then you have the entire day and it ends, then what you see is that the 10-day average now moves further, because now the 10 days is only these data points. So this data point is removed, this data point is added, and the average is found and again plotted on that day. So now this price comes here, and then if you move it further the next day, you find that the 10-day average includes only these data points up to here. So these two data points have now been removed and these two data points have been added, and the average is plotted on this day. Similarly, then as one more day progresses, this particular data point is removed, this particular data point is added. So these 10 days are used to calculate the average, and this data point is received because it is plotted on this day. So so on and so forth. As one day keeps getting added, one day keeps getting removed. So 10-day average is always going to be 10 days, but 10 days from the last day. So this is how these prices are calculated, and since that price is calculated on a daily basis, on every day the 10-day average is calculated, you get a point on a daily basis, and that is why it is called a moving average. It is called a moving average because every day a new data point is added and one data point from the beginning is removed, and this way the average keeps moving. And you can see this like this go on, and I have given you an example here. Like for example, this day to this day the average is 11,130.91 and it is plotted here. From here to here, this day to this day is 10 days again, and the average is taken, which is 11,129.38, and that point is plotted here. Then again the average is taken from this day to this day, and the average is taken and then plotted under this day, on this day, and this comes at 11,131.37. So you got to know what is a moving average. Moving average is nothing else but the same concept of average, but with a moving set of data points. That is one. Now, because we understand that the moving average is nothing else but the average price of that particular security, whether it is Nifty or Reliance or whatever, average price of that security for the last 10 days, it tells us one more thing about the market. It tells us that today, for example, here Nifty is above the average that it traded for the last 10 days. It is not below, it is above. So Nifty is above its last 10-day traded price. Similarly here, Nifty is above the last 10-day average traded price. Here Nifty is below the last 10-day average traded price. This gives us one thing. By drawing this moving average, we can visually see whether Nifty is now currently trading above the average or below the average, and that is a significant piece of information which we have added just by calculating the moving average. So for those who can understand data in the form of a Excel sheet far better than that of a chart, I have just drawn this Excel sheet here. What you can see is this is 7th August closing price of Nifty. So this is the closing price. This is open, high, low and close. And this is 6th August, 5th August, 4th August. These are the prices. And this is the formula used for calculating the average. If you are taking the average of the closing price, then the average formula is this. E55 to E64. So this is 64, this is the last day, and E55 is here. So these are the 10-day, this is the 10 days of average that is being taken, right? This is from here to here is the 10-day average, and it is plotted here, 11131.35. On the charts, the average that is plotted on this technical analysis chart is 11131.37. So this average we get in the Excel sheet is pretty much close to the average that we have got in the chart itself, because the charting software just calculates it on its own and puts it out there. So I'm just trying to show how in an Excel sheet itself you can do the same thing. So here if you see, the average formula is E54 to 63. So assuming there was a 54 range here, the row of 54 which I have not shown, so it would add from 54 to 53, and that would be the plot of this 11129.36, which tallies with the charting software's number. Similarly, as we keep going back, one number keeps getting removed and one number keeps getting added, and the number of the average day is still remain 10 days. So that is why it is a moving average of 10 period moving average. It is called a 10-day moving average, and these are the way, this is the way even in an Excel sheet you can replicate what the charting software itself does. So what I have done for you is that I have plotted several moving averages. This is a 10-day moving average, this is a 20-day moving average, this is a 50-day moving average, then there is a 100 and 200-day moving average. This, any technical analysis software worth its name, even the free software that brokers provide, will have this kind of ability to plot these kind of charts. So you have the ability to see these charts these days very easily. Now what, however, we need to understand is that it's not sufficient to just say that today, for example, here the Nifty, this is Nifty, and it has closed below all the moving averages. So it is below the 10-day, it is below the 20-day, it is obviously below the 50, 100 and 200-day moving average at this point in time. And it continues to be like that, and this is the first time it moves above the 10-day moving average. So most people will just say that it has moved above the 10-day moving average, but the implication is that it has actually traded today for the first time. It has closed above the average traded price of the last 10 days. This is what we need to understand. It's not just it has moved above a curve in the chart, it has actually moved above the last 10-day traded average price. That is significant because it allows us to understand the implication of what we are seeing. This is the first sign that there is some strength in the market. This is post 24th March of 2020, after the steep fall due to COVID. It is now showing the first sign that market is recovering, and then it does that for some time, then again moves back down, there is fear, again moves back up, moves back down, etc. And this is again a confident close above the 10-day average. So now we know that Nifty has actually closed well above the average traded price of the last 10 days. But it is still below the average traded price of the last 20 days, 50 days, and so on and so forth. So then again it closes above the 20-day moving average here. So we now know that Nifty is not only just above the 10-day average traded price, it is also above the 20-day average traded price. And then this continues until it again breaks below the 20-day and then breaks below the 10-day slightly, then goes out above, etc., etc., and then we see this happen. So now one of the things you would have noticed is that what has happened here, not only is the price above the 10-day average price and the 20-day average price and the 50-day average price, we now see one other important thing. There is a crossover of the 10-day moving average above the 20-day moving average. So this, we always say in technical analysis, there is a cross of the 20-day above the 10-day above the 20-day moving average. But we have to understand when we say that what we are saying is that the average traded price of Nifty for the last 10 days is now for the first time in a long time above the average traded price of the Nifty in the last 20 days. This had happened here also when this 10-day moving average crossed about 20. We know here, for example, that now the average traded price of Nifty in the last 10 days is above the average traded price of the Nifty in the last 20 days. This is the significance of a crossover of the moving average. It tells you that something has changed in the market. It tells you that now the average traded price of Nifty, so all the buyers or sellers, whoever have traded in the last 10 days, now they are actually above the average traded price of the last 20 days. So this continues, and then you can see several crossovers. The moment you draw several moving averages, you will see several crossovers of the moving average. You will see several points where they all converge together. This is also a significant point. See, nobody tells this to you practically, that this is the point at which the average traded price of the last 10 days, the average traded price of the last 20 days, and the average traded price of the last 50 days have all converged. So from here, this is obviously a point of inflection. Market can go up or down, and then suddenly you see this breakout, and then you know that now again Nifty has confirmed that it wants to go higher. This is the kind of understanding that even pure moving averages can give you, a convergence of all the moving average, and then a breakout again. These kind of things is what you look out for in the charts. So बहुत हो गया about explanation of moving averages. Let's come straight to strategies. So strategy 1, buy if price goes above moving average 10, sell if it falls below moving average 10. Isn't it very simple? That's a very simple strategy to trade using moving averages. If the price goes and closes above a particular moving average, then buy. Sell if the price closes below that moving average. That is a simple strategy. Then there is another strategy like strategy 2. Buy if moving average 10 crosses over moving average 20 from below. Sell if moving average 10 falls below moving average 20 from above. So this is not about the price. This is about two moving averages. So 10 and 20 I have written. It could be basically what it means is that in general, if a shorter term moving average crosses above a longer term moving average from below, then you can buy. Similarly, if that moving average falls below the longer term moving average from above, then you can sell. This is the basic strategy 2. Now 10 and 20 or any numbers are something that each individual trader can decide based on what he feels comfortable with. Some people love Fibonacci numbers, so they will say, I will not use moving average 10, I'll use 8 because 8 is a Fibonacci number, and I will not use 20 but I'll use 21 because 21 is a Fibonacci number. So you see, people can use whatever they want. There are various technical analysis software which will allow you to backtest the strategies and say that, okay, if I had used 8 and 21, then what would have been the profit that I would have got from such a strategy if I had done that in the past. So similarly, this kind of backtesting can be done for these two strategies, and you can even optimize the number here. Instead of 10, it can be 8 or 13 or 21 or 23. Similarly, here these two averages can be you can determine which one is the better one. But these are two basic strategies that are used using moving averages. There's also another strategy that people use typically, traders use typically, which is sell if a stock moves above a certain distance from a moving average and buy if it falls below a certain distance. So what people have noticed is that the price goes above and below a moving average with some kind of regularity. A price can't actually move much beyond a moving average. There seems to be some kind of gravitational pull that pulls the price down to the moving average once it goes much above that. Similarly, there is a attraction that pulls up the price towards the moving average once it falls much below that. So this is the kind of thing that people have empirically seen, so they can devise strategies around that. But we will talk more on this strategy when we cover Bollinger Bands in some other episode. Right now we will leave it. We will only talk about strategy 1 and strategy 2. So here what I have shown is that in recent times, people have found that just blindly doing what I've said in strategy 1 and strategy 2 in the past, in the previous few slides, is not something that one can work with. So they have realized that there needs to be something which will filter out the trades. So one filter that is typically taken, for example, is that if the buy is taken only if the price is already above the 50-day moving average. That means if the price is currently below the 50-day moving average, then buys are not taken, only the sells are taken. Similarly, the sell is taken only if the price is below the 50-day moving average. Otherwise, the position is kept until the initial stop loss is hit or the profit target is achieved. So what we are saying here is that the buy trade can be taken if it is above the 50-day moving average, and then you do nothing. You have an initial stop loss that you are waiting for to get hit, or you have a profit target and it gets hit, and then you wait for that. So you don't do anything until either that one of the two is happened. If the sell comes in between, you don't take that trade because the price is still above the 50-day moving average. So the 50-day moving average decides whether the buy will be taken or the sell will be taken. Similarly, in the other strategy 2, the 50-day moving average, that is in strategy 2 also, the 50-day moving average acts as a filter. So if the crossover happens when the price is above the 50-day moving average, then only we will take the trade as on the basis of the crossover. Similarly, if the sell happens below the 50-day moving average, if the crossover happens below the 50-day moving average, then only the sell will be taken. Using this kind of filters, now 50-day is not a hard and fast rule. Again, one will have to test that which of the moving averages works well as a filter, but this kind of filters actually prevent one from over trading. So the trader is able to take only those trades which makes most sense for him. So I'll use this Nifty chart again to give you a clear and complete idea of how a particular strategy can be used. So I have written strategy 1, which is what a price moving above the 10-day moving average, for example. Here also strategy 1 could have been taken. Here also strategy 1 could have been taken. But why didn't we take it? Because of a 50-day filter. This is a 50-day filter, and we don't take a buy unless there is the price is above the 50-day moving average. So when this price moved above the 50-day moving average and it has closed above the 10-day moving average here, the strategy 1 kicks in. So this is where I can take a buy, and then I can ride the trend up with the initial stop here around this level, which is the low of the day or the low of 2-day or the 2-day low. I can take any of that as the stop loss and then continue to ride with the trend. The market has not yet come down and gone below the 50-day moving average, or or done anything which could prevent us from continuing with the trade. There obviously has to be a profit target level, which we will talk about later when we talk about trading in our training programs. But right now what we know is that nothing has happened since then which has caused us to worry about this trend. Similarly, this is strategy 2. You see, this is the crossover. The price, this is the 50-day moving average, which is a filter. So I've said now the price is above that, and the crossover is also happening above the 50-day moving average. The 10-period moving average has crossed the 20-day moving average, which is around this level. So this buy comes here as per strategy 2, and this continues. There is nothing to do. The 10-day is still above the 20-day. It has not yet turned down. So there is a buy signal that comes in, and then that continues. So this kind of trading can be done. The strategy 1 and strategy 2 trading can be done, and a lot of people do trade like this. One of the other things that I wanted to highlight is that there are several times you will see that Nifty has crossed about 10-day moving average. Suppose you didn't get the trade here, but you get it here now. This is again Nifty going above the 10-day moving average and closing. I can still buy here if I have not bought here, or I can add to my positions when this kind of thing happens. So there are several nuances to trading. While moving averages as a technical analysis term can be taught very theoretically. Practically, there are various things to be considered. So this is one of the things to be considered. Do I add to my position? Do I not add to my position? If I have not taken a trade here, do I take my trade here? What would be my stop loss when I take my trade here? Those are the things that one has to be cognizant of, because that is what will make a difference between a profitable and a loss-making trader. But These are the examples of the kind of trades that can be taken in moving averages, and this is a practical example of what you can do. The other thing that you have to remember is that context is very important in trading. Now, for example, this is where I said all the moving averages 10, 20 and 50 converged, and then you see a big candle like this, right? A big candle like this. We will talk about candlesticks in one of our episodes later, but right now anybody who understands a little bit of charts will know that this is a big candlestick that has happened here. So this context that it happened here, it happened with a support at 50-day moving average. This was an inflection point for the market where all the moving averages converged. This is what makes one very confident, or it is very important to then take a trade here, because this is a very important level. So this is what is practical knowledge of moving averages. Otherwise just moving average crossover or moving average price crossing above a moving average is a theoretical knowledge, but this is practical knowledge. This is what tells us you are using everything together. You are saying inflection point because various moving averages have converged. We are seeing that big candle, a positive green candle. So this is the trade I'll take. This is what we want to talk about in practically explaining moving averages. So for the sake of completion, we will talk about exponential moving average. What is exponential moving average? It is an average which weighs the latest day more than others. Okay, that's done. Then what else it is? The formula is this: EMA of today, T is today, is equal to price of today into K. What is K? K is a constant, which is 2 divided by number of days plus 1. So if it's a 10 period moving average that we are calculating, then K is equal to 2 divided by 11, which is 0.1818. So let's come back here. EMA today is equal to price today into 0.1818 plus EMA of yesterday, which we have already calculated, into 1 minus 0.1818. So what we therefore have is that exponential moving average gives more weight to recent data than the simple moving average. That is very clear, because in a simple moving average, today's price will be given 10% weight. In a 10-day moving average, it will be 10% weight. In a 10 period exponential moving average, today's price is given a 18% weight instead of 10%. So exponential moving average actually weighs the latest data far more than the previous data. Now question is, why do we need an exponential moving average? Why not suffice with a simple moving average? I as a trader say that it just doesn't make too much of a difference. The trading rules that can be created, I talked about the trading rules with a simple moving average. For example, I said with a 50-day moving average filter, then we can use a buy above the 10-day moving average, a close of the price above the 10-day moving average as a reason to buy, or the cross of a 10-day moving average above a 20-day moving average as a reason to buy. Same rules can be used even for the EMA. So there is no difference. It is actually your choice. You like a EMA better, or you like a simple moving average better. That is something that each trader takes his own call on that. There is no particular right or wrong answer. But for the sake of completion, because I said this is an education series about moving average, you should not go back and say that I didn't even know there is an exponential moving average. So I've told you what is an exponential moving average. But the point is that this series is not for you to give a certified market technician and a CMT exam or a CTA exam, right? This is not that. The whole idea of this technical analysis series that I'm doing is actually to say that simple, basic, practical things of understanding is required so that we know what is this thing that we are using, and then we really need to be able to say this is how we want to use it in our trading. Finally, this is not to give an exam. This is not to talk about why a stock is up or down. This is to actually make money. If you want to make money, then keep things simple, understand the basic practical things of a moving average, etc., and then use some basic tools to be able to make money. This is how I do it, and this is how I want as so many people who see my program to really understand that understanding things just for the sake of understanding and to be able to write theoretically makes no sense. What we need to understand is how to trade, how to use it in our day-to-day trading. So as promised, I will give you exactly the trading system that I have used in the past, both in HDFC Bank and in ICICI Securities, to actually make a lot of money in those days. So this is, what is this two lines that you see? That's the question. That's the main question. This is a 89-day moving average, 89-day moving average. And this is not, why are there two lines then if this is both 89-day moving average? The answer is that this is the 89-day moving average, not of the close but of the high. So like I said, open, high, low, close are the four numbers that are available in charts. So when you plot a chart of a 89-day moving average, you can actually say, instead of the close, I want it on a high. So it will be 89-day moving average of the highs. And similarly, this is the 89-day moving average of the lows. So this is a band. This is the high 89-day moving average of highs. This is the 89-day moving average of the lows. Now, what was my trading strategy? The trading strategy was very, very simple. If the price closes above the 89-day moving average of the highs, closes above that, and then actually the next day it moves above the high of the day when it closed above this high, then I would buy. And then you could see that, hopefully things like this will happen. And in this period, if the price closed below the low of this 89-day moving average, this is the 89-day moving average low. If it closed below that, not only did it close below that, if it broke the low then the next day, then I would cut my long positions and go short, right? But I think it didn't happen in here. It went back up and it remained up until it did something like this here. So maybe it closed below the low here and then broke below the low, in which case I would have gone short here and then not made too much money. In fact, probably not made any money at all, and actually seen myself get stopped out when the Nifty moved above here and it went up again and then maybe got stopped out again here, but then would have made money on this whole rally, and then again would have shorted here and would have made money a little here and things like that. So basically, what is the rule? The thing that I used, the band that I used was 89-day moving average high, 89-day moving average low. If it closed above the 89-day moving average high and took out the high of that day, I would buy. If it closed below the 89-day moving average low and it broke the low of that day, then I would sell. So it was a system where I would be always long or short the Nifty, right? This was, I traded it on Nifty in ICICI Securities, in HDFC Bank I traded it on stocks. So in both cases it worked pretty well, and you can make very good money in a trending market because it keep you in the trend. It tends to keep you in the trend. For example, this place, once we shorted it in the beginning of Feb, it would have kept you in the trend for a very long time. You would have missed all this ups and downs, and now you would have been long and been again in the trend. So this would have been a very, very good period for this kind of trading system. I have used it in the past. Currently also I tend to use it, but now I don't use it on the daily chart. I use it on the hourly chart because I can sit in front of the computer and trade on an hourly basis. But even for an end of day trader, somebody who is actually working in some place and doesn't need to look at the charts all the time, or cannot look at the charts all the time, he can still do it on an end of day databases and still make money. So this is my bonus that I was talking about. This is the way that you can actually trade moving averages. Instead of just moving average on the close, you can use it on the high and low to create a band. You can experiment with your own bands. I used 89-day, you can use 50, you can use 100, and then you can see what works for you. So this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about. There is another thing that I do, which I talk about in my daily program, which is I use the 50-day moving average as a filter, as a support. It's my setup, it's my go-to setup. If the stock comes down to a 50-day moving average from above and takes support there and starts going up, then I want to buy. This is what I always talk about in my daily chart, in my daily show also. This is another good way to use a moving average. So this was the first episode on moving averages. I will have many more episodes in the coming days. It could be on various technical indicators that could include maybe trend lines, maybe moving, MACD, maybe RSI, maybe stochastics, maybe Bollinger Bands, etc. So there will be several more episodes to look forward to. But what is the one thing that I need from you, I really need you to give me comments in the section below. What is it that you liked? What would you want to change? This will help me in my future episodes. I really want to make this a program which people would love to hear and listen to. And one of the things that I will forever talk about is my personal experience using the technical indicators that I am doing that episode on. I think that will give that one value add that can be something that not too many other teachers of technical analysis can give, because I have this large personal experience using trading, doing trading personally using these technical indicators. So please subscribe to this channel. Press the bell icon after you subscribe, because that will give you notifications whenever I post a new educational video. One other request is to spread the word. Don't please hog everything to yourself. Thank you and keep watching.